Hey, what's up everyone? John here from testprepinsight.com, and today I'm going to be directly comparing the language apps from Babbel and Duolingo. I did this same comparison video about 1.5 years ago, but since then, both companies have drastically overhauled their programs, especially Duolingo. So today we're going to take a fresh look and I'll let you know which language app I would personally use. And by the way, I should just mention up front here that since I'll just be focusing on the major pros and cons in this video, if you find you need more detail at any point, you can always check out our full detailed written comparison over on our website. An easy way to get there is just to Google Test Prep Insight, Babbel versus Duolingo. It's a fast way to find it. Okay, so I want to start by giving you a high-level overview of how each program works. I think this will help provide some context for my thoughts on what I like and don't like about each of these apps. So let me start with Babbel. When you open up the Babbel app for the first time, there are different learning levels: newcomer, beginner, intermediate, advanced, etc. And within each level, there are typically somewhere between 2 and 8 courses that cover different thematic topics. And within each course, there's anywhere from 5 to 15 lessons to complete. So again, from top down, you're talking levels, courses, lessons. Assuming you have no working knowledge of the language you're learning, you're going to start with the newcomer level, and then you'll shoot to complete a lesson per day. And as for the lessons themselves, each one is pretty short in length, generally about 15 minutes. Though they're not as short as Duolingo's, they generally go by pretty quick. And this is because each lesson is comprised of a series of several quick-hit interactive drills. There's listen and repeat exercises, digital flashcards, fill in the blanks, matching pairs, matching phrases to images, completing mock conversations, short instructional tips on grammar, and a few more. It's just a very diverse hybrid approach that moves fast. Babbel basically presents the same content in a variety of different ways and really forces you to interact with the material. Then outside of the lessons, there's also daily review sessions where you get spaced repetition on vocab and some other extras like games, audio lessons, podcast, and a digital magazine. It's a pretty comprehensive app in terms of features. Then, turning to Duolingo, their program is a little different. It's similar in that the lessons are generally shorter than other companies, and they use a nice variety of drills too, but generally speaking, the program just has a much different design. Rather than the level, course, lesson structure that Babbel uses, with Duolingo, you follow a learning path. The path moves through hundreds of units and you work on these stepping stones each day, where each stepping stone usually holds 3 to 5 lessons. The typical Duolingo lesson takes just 5 minutes and consists of a set of rapid-fire drills, such as listening drills, fill in the blanks, matching pairs, verbal practice, and writing full sentences, just to name a few. These lessons go by super fast, much faster than Babbel's, and a lot of times you'll end up doing 2 or 3 lessons in one sitting. But comparing lessons here isn't the full story, because Duolingo's program is also fundamentally different. Where Babbel goes a little more into the instructional side of things with grammar notes and lessons in each unit, the Duolingo program is more so meant to be like a game, where you connect socially with friends, earn XP points, compete in leagues, and buy things with gems. It's much more game-like than Babbel's program. But from a high level, that's how the two companies compare. The lessons are somewhat similar in terms of length and design, but the Babbel program overall is a little more in-depth with their language instruction, while the Duolingo app is more so intended to be like a fun game. And by the way, if you want to see examples of the lessons or drills from both companies, be sure to check out that full detailed written comparison that I mentioned. I'll have it linked down below in the description for you. I have screenshots and examples over there so you can get a better feel for what to expect. Okay, so before we dive straight into talking about what I like and don't like about each program, let's quickly touch on cost. So, Duolingo is known for being the free app. Their basic version, which about half of people use it seems like, is free. You just download the app, make a profile, and start doing lessons. But obviously there are some drawbacks with the free version, such as limited daily mistakes, tons of ads, and limitations around navigating new and old lessons. So if you want to upgrade to get rid of those issues, you can sign up for Super Duolingo. That's their premium version. It costs about $84 for an annual subscription, making it about $7 per month. Or they have a family plan if you want to split with friends or family. That costs $120 per year, or about $10 per month on average. Now, Babbel on the other hand doesn't do the freemium model. They just have 3 different subscription options to choose from: a 3-month plan, a 6-month plan, and a 12-month plan, which range from around $6 to $9 per month after discounts. And for those looking to learn 2 or 3 languages, Babbel also offers a lifetime plan, which costs around $300, and that includes access to all of Babbel's languages. So stacking these two apps up side by side, so long as you're not talking about Duolingo's free version, they're basically priced the same, somewhere in the $6 to $10 per month range, depending on plan and discounts. And on that point of discounts, I would just say to make sure you check for coupon codes before buying. We track their sales calendars, and both companies are almost always running some sort of deal or special promotion, and you can usually knock a few bucks off. In fact, I'll do my best to drop any current discounts that I can find down in the description for you. So make sure to check that out before buying. You might be able to save a few bucks if one of these two apps does end up being a good fit for you. Okay, so let's get into my personal thoughts on each app and where I see each one being better than the other. And let's start with Babbel. The thing I like most about Babbel's program over Duolingo is that their lessons are longer and more in depth. Within the first couple lessons of using each program, you can just tell the Babbel lessons are more comprehensive and go deeper. And this isn't just because they're longer. The exercises hit the material you're covering from more angles, and they frequently weave in teaching points right into the lesson. This is unlike Duolingo, which just rolls through vocabulary. There really isn't much direct instruction in their program. So in terms of being more developed and actually teaching, Babbel's app is definitely superior. And that's a good segue into my second win for Babbel, grammar. Duolingo doesn't include hardly any grammar instruction in their program. All they give you is these little guidebooks at the start of each unit, which provide high-level grammar coverage. In contrast, Babbel works grammar into each and every lesson. There's exercises that teach grammar directly, as well as tips and call-out boxes that frequently appear to work in teaching points. Grammar instruction is just much more pervasive in the Babbel program, but not to the point of being too much. I actually really like how they weave it in. Okay, so point number 3 for Babbel is how they use natural language. In other words, they teach you things that people really say. For those of you that don't know, this is one of the widest complaints about Duolingo. So many of the phrases and sentences that they teach you are just nonsensical, just stuff you'd never say. I've seen things like, the owl wears a jacket, and my foot is very tall. Just nonsense stuff. It's like their algorithm grabs words and just combines them. Now, Babbel, on the other hand, is very good about teaching you more natural language chunks. It's a small but important point, as when you're learning a new language, a lot of times it's patterns and language chunks that are the quickest and easiest to learn. Alright, my last one for Babbel, and this is a big one, but I think Babbel does a better job than Duolingo of developing your ear for a language. In other words, I think Babbel's a lot more effective for building your listening comprehension skills. For one, Babbel uses more frequent audio exercises. You probably get twice as many direct audio exercises in each lesson. And for two, even for non-audio drills, Babbel just about always repeats the word out loud. Even if it's a matching pairs drill, the word will still be repeated. This way you're hearing the words and phrases constantly. Over the course of a lesson, you hear it over and over and over. To compare it to Duolingo, they don't do the repeat out loud thing. If you have to type out a word, when you get it right, it'll just make a chime sound, do a little motion graphic, and you move on. So I like that Babbel reinforces the audio of new words over and over and over in lessons. Alright, so that's where Babbel wins. Now let's switch sides and cover the major pros in favor of Duolingo. But before I get to that, I do just want to mention that every single month here at Test Prep Insight, we actually give away a free language learning course to one lucky person. It's super simple to enter. Everyone out there is eligible. I'll put all the details down below in the description on how to enter, but just know it takes like 10 seconds, and hey, you never know. You could win a totally free subscription to Babbel or Super Duolingo. Okay, Duolingo. And my first advantage for them is just how fun they make learning. With how they gamify the language learning experience, their app is legitimately fun to use and honestly somewhat addicting. It's kind of like a questing game or something, and you get kind of hooked. You earn XP points with every lesson, you can do friend quests, you can spend gems you earn on cool features, you compete in leagues against other users, they bait you into keeping up your streak. It's just a really fun, motivating environment for learning, and I really like this aspect of the app. Then, number 2, I really like that Duolingo offers a free version. If you're on a tight budget, you can get most all of the benefits of the app without having to drop a dime. It's perfect for people looking to keep things ultra cheap. Plus, it's literally the only language app on the market that I've used that offers a decent free version. Other apps say they have free versions, but they don't offer nearly as many features as Duolingo's free plan. But do keep in mind those limitations I mentioned earlier. You will get hit with a bunch of ads. There are caps on your daily usage with their heart system. In essence, hearts equals mistakes, and if you make too many mistakes in a lesson, then you're done for the day. And there are some limitations around navigating new and old lessons. Just keep that in mind with the free version. And one other quick win for Duolingo is how short the lessons are. There isn't a huge discrepancy between the length of each company's lessons. Duolingo's take about 5 minutes and Babbel's take about 15, but that's enough to make a difference. With Babbel's lessons, you really can't pause and come back. You sort of need to get through the full 15 minutes. So if you're stretched for time, maybe you can only afford to learn 5 minutes here or 10 minutes there, Duolingo might be a better choice given how short their lessons are. And my final pro for Duolingo is how their lessons hammer vocab. I mean, this can be a pro or a con because it's a little repetitive, but with how many times Duolingo hits the same word, literally like 24 times per unit, it really burns new vocab into your brain. But anyway, that about does it for the detail in this comparison. So let's get to the final verdict. Should you choose Babbel or Duolingo? Honestly, in my opinion, if you just want to choose one app or the other, I would go with Babbel all day. Their lessons are more in depth, do a great job of weaving in grammar, they hit you with daily spaced reviews, and you progress a whole lot faster. But with that said, I do think there is some benefit to Duolingo's short, addicting lessons, and I think the best solution of all might be just to use both. I've been messing around with that and it seems to work out pretty nicely. The programs complement each other pretty well. I would suggest using Babbel as your main learning platform and try to do a lesson per day, and then fill in the gaps and little breaks in your day with Duolingo. It would be a great supplement to drive home vocab and keep you having fun. And that's all I've got for you. I hope this video was helpful and you learned a little something about both Duolingo and Babbel. If so, make sure to return the favor by subscribing to our channel, liking this video, and dropping me a quick comment below. That would be really appreciated. And again, if you want to see that full detailed written comparison that I mentioned earlier in this video, just hop on over to our website, testprepinsight.com, or check out the other videos on our YouTube channel. We got a bunch of great language content out there. But as always, thanks for watching, best of luck, and I'll see you next time.